Hello guys, welcome into this grade 10 mathematical lesson whereby we will still be continuing with this Euclidean geometry, right? So we will be going through these two questions, this one and this one. Now, okay, question 8.1 says to us, complete the following statement. And then the statement that we are given, the part of the statement says, if the opposite angles of a quadrilateral are equal, then that quadrilateral, what is that quadrilateral that have opposite angles that are equal? It's a parallelogram, it's a rhombus, it's a rectangle, it's a square. Any of those quadrilateral you can mention here. Okay, let's proceed to 8.2. Use the sketch below to prove that opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal. Oh, we did something similar to this before, but okay, let's have a look on this one. Now, we can see that this is a parallelogram, right? And we want to prove that opposite sides of this parallelogram are equal. We want to prove that AD is equal to BC, and also AB is equal to DC. That's what we want to prove. Now, we will go for the triangle ABD, which is this one, the blue triangle here on my diagram, right? Okay, now let's go for the triangle BCD, the red triangle. Good. Now we divided this parallelogram into two equal triangles, right? The blue triangle and the red triangle. Now, what do we want to do with these two triangles? We want to prove the congruency of these the two triangles. Remember the congruency. If we want to prove that triangle 1 and triangle 2 are congruent to each other, we mean that we want to prove that they are exactly equal to each other with anything. Then with similarity, we say maybe the quadrilateral 1 is the enlargement of the quadrilateral 2. They are not necessarily the same in anything. It's just that the other one is enlargement of the other. Maybe the other one is two times large the other one. Now, let's prove the congruency between the blue triangle and the red triangle. Now, let's go. D1 is equal to B2. Do you guys agree that D1 here is equal to B2 here? Okay, let me write that. And this is an angle. D1 is equal to angle B2. What is the reason behind this? Those are the alternate angles. Why? Because AD is parallel to BC. So remember, guys, when you use that maths is fun technique, corresponding cointerior angles and alternate angles, you also must state the parallel lines that you are working with. I hope this makes sense to you guys. Now we go for B1 is going to be equal to D2, okay? And not just B1, but angle B1 is equal to angle D2. Okay, what is the reason behind that? Alternate angles. Oh, no. Alternate angles. And then now I state my parallel lines. I said B1 here is equal to D2 here. My Z is around here. So now I state AB is parallel to DC. Okay, AB is parallel to DC. Okay, now I'm gonna go for BD is equal to BD. We have a BD on the blue triangle we also have BD on the red triangle. Now I'll say BD is equal to BD. Why? Because BD is a common side on those two triangles. It's a common side. Now, we have proved that triangle DBA or ABD, DBA, or not just DBA, but triangle DBA is congruent to triangle BCD. BCD, right? Now, since we proved this using an angle, and a side, you will state that here. We used an angle, and a side. Now, we have proved the congruency between the two triangles. Now, since these are congruent, now you will just know that the corresponding sides of these triangles are going to be equal to each other. Therefore, AB will be equal to CD and AD will be equal to BC. We are done, just like that. We answered 8.2. I hope it makes sense to everyone. Now, let's move to the next question, 8.3. Oh, let me erase this just to have some space to write on. Okay. Now, 8.3 says to us, in the sketch below, KPMN is a parallelogram. KPMN. This is a parallelogram. Now, before we can go any further with this statement, we need to analyze this parallelogram using the properties of the parallelogram that we know. Is that this angle is equal to that angle. Why? Because opposite angles of a palm are equal. This angle is equal to this angle. Why? Because opposite angles of a palm are equal. Yes, and this side, KP, is equal to this side, NM. Why? Because opposite sides of a palm are equal. And then Kn is equal to Pm. Why? Because opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal. Okay, now we are done with our analysis. We can continue with our statement. They are now saying ON bisects. Oh, wow, we talked about this term earlier on. Bisect. What does bisect mean? It cuts something into two equal parts. Therefore, when they say ON bisects KNM, what is KNM? KNM. Then ON bisects KNM. It divides this angle N into two equal parts. Therefore, if this angle is X, this will also be X. Why? Because ON bisects KNM. Okay, and OM bisects NMP. NMP. Now, this line divides this angle into two equal parts. If this angle is Y, this angle will also have to be Y. Why? Because OM bisects this angle here. Okay, we are done with our analysis and reading the statement. Now, we understand what we are given there on the statement. Now, we can dive into the questions and see what we are required to do. 8.3.1 requires us to show that NOM is equal to 90 degrees. NOM is equal to 90 degrees. Okay, now let's do this. Let's do this and work around this one. If you let angle N1 here to be X, this angle, let's say, why is this pen of mine thick. I want it to be thin. Yeah. Now I say, let angle N1 to be equal to X. Okay. I let this angle to be equal to X. Now, angle N2, not just N2, but angle N2 will be equal to X. This will also be X. Why? Because ON bisects angle N, right? From that statement. Yes. Now, let's continue. Let angle M1 to be Y. This angle is Y. Also, angle M2 will be Y. Why? Because OM bisects angle M, not just M. It bisects angle M. You denote it using that head on top of the letter. So this is also Y, right? Hey, this is good, eh? Now, let's continue. Now, I say to you, this is parallel to that. Why? Because opposite sides of a parallelogram are parallel to each other. Now, this angle and this angle are cointerior angles. We will take these two x here. I say to you, 2x plus 2x is equal to 180 degrees. Why? Because n plus m are supplementary. And then you say cointerior angles. Why? Because Kn is parallel to Pm. Right? Yes. Now, what are we going to do now? We are going to say we want that angle. But before we can go there, here we can find the sum of x plus y. Now, if we divide by 2 on both sides, we're gonna get x plus y is equal to 90 degrees, right? Now, we want that angle O2 there, but we know that angle O2 plus angle N2 plus angle M1, we get 180 degrees. Why? Because the interior angles of a triangle are supplementary, right? Yes. Now, what is O2? O2 is unknown, is the one that we are looking for. What is N2? N2 is X. What is M1? It is Y, okay? Is equal to 180 degrees. Now, O2 plus, what is X plus Y? We said here X plus Y is equal to 90 degrees. Therefore, we have 90 degrees here is equal to 180 degrees. Now, here you just do now your algebra. You just do your algebra. You transpose that 90 degrees to the right-hand side. O2 is equal to 180 degrees minus 90 degrees. Therefore, O2 is equal to 90 degrees. Now we have proved that an angle NOM is equal to 90 degrees. You are done with the question 8.3.1. Now, let's continue to the next question, 8.3.2. Okay, let me erase this mess that I'm having here, just to have some space to use to answer the next question. Okay. Let's go. Okay. There we go. Fine. Now, let's go to the next question, 8.3.2. They are requiring us to prove that O is the midpoint of KP. Now, how are we going to prove that O is the midpoint of KP? Now, this is what we will do. N2 is equal to O1, isn't it? Yes, that's true. Let me erase this axis of mine here. Yeah. Okay. Now we are saying this angle is equal to that angle. Yeah. Angle O1 is equal to angle N2. Why? Because of alternating angles. Why? Because KP is parallel to NM. KP is parallel to NM. Yes. The next part that you're going to do now, we're going to say O1 is equal to N1. Isn't it? Why are we going to say this one is equal to this part here? Why are we going to say that? Because remember we said ON bisects this angle. So now we will say N1 is equal to N2, but those are the angles. Why? Because ON bisects angle A, right? So this angle is equal to this angle, right? Now, this implies that these angles are equal. Angle O1 is equal to angle N1. Why? Because they are both equal to N2, just like we see here. They are both equal to N2. Like this, right? Yes. Now, in this triangle, KNO, we can see that this is an isosceles triangle. Triangle KON is an isosceles triangle because of this triangle. Because of O1 and N1, right? Therefore, Kn is equal to Ko. So now, also on this side, you're going to do the same thing. This angle is equal to that angle. M1 is equal to O3, right? Why? Alternate angles. Alternate angles. Why? Because KP is parallel to NM, right? Yes. And now M1 is equal to M2, but those are the angles because OM bisects angle M. Now, we can come to the conclusion that this angle and this angle are equal. We say M2 is equal to O3. Why are they equal? Because they are both equal to this angle. They are both equal to angle M1. Good. Now, the triangle OPM is an isosceles triangle. Why? Because of angle O3, and angle M2, right? Yes. If this is an isosceles triangle with this equal, now we're gonna say this side is equal to this side. We will say OP is equal to PM, right? So now we see that this side is equal to this side. We also saw that this side was equal to this side, right? Now, these sides are equal. Why? Because opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal. Now, they forces this side to be equal to this side. Therefore, O is the midpoint of KP. Now, we have proved that O is the midpoint of KP. Otherwise, let's end here for this lesson. Now, we are done answering the questions on this document. I hope you guys are enjoying this lesson. Thank you, guys.